America's hopes of returning to some semblance of normal life this summer have been hindered by the Delta variant. The latest wave of COVID-19 in America has particularly swept off greater numbers of American children. And as schools start reopening, the deadly variant has renewed anxiety for parents. The Center for Disease Control had asked for mask regulation in schools regardless of vaccination status. The CDC recommended universal masking indoors for all K-12 school teachers, staff members, students and visitors. The guidance, issued just weeks before the fall semester, comes as most children remain unvaccinated against COVID-19 in the United States. But many states have left it up to the local schools to decide whether to mandate masks. Parents have mixed emotions around the guidance on masks. Some thought the recommendation was enough. Others kept their children home in disagreement with the policy. California, Louisiana, Oregon and Washington intend to require masks for all students and teachers, regardless of vaccine status. While Arizona, Florida, Iowa, Oklahoma, South Carolina, Texas, even Utah have banned mask requirements in all public schools, much of the surge in new infections is concentrated in the southeastern state of Florida, where some school districts are defying an order by the Republican Governor Ron DeSantis forbidding mask mandates. And this is when the state is leading the nation in the number of adults and children admitted to hospitals with COVID-19. After U.S. President Joe Biden asked the GOP governors to get out of the way of efforts to contain the infection, the White House also reiterated its concerns about some state Republican governors blocking public health efforts to contain the infection.
We do have concern, of course, about restrictions that are being put in place in a handful of states or have been put in place around the country that make it more difficult for localities, for schools, for businesses in some places to implement public health guidelines. And our message continues to be that if you don't want to abide by public health guidelines, don't want to use your role as leaders, elected officials, then you should get out of the way and let public health officials guide localities, schools, universities to do the right, or local schools as well, to do exactly the right thing.
Joe Biden has hinted that COVID-19 control measures could get stricter going ahead, since the new Delta variant is taking a needless toll on the country.
Over the past 7 months, we've cut COVID-19 deaths by 90%. As of today, 193 million Americans have gotten at least one vaccination shot, including over 70% of adults over the age of 18. 165 million Americans are now fully vaccinated. Because of our success with vaccination effort, this new Delta variant wave of COVID-19 will be very different to be able to deal with than the one that was underway when I took office. And yes, cases are going to go up before they come back down. It's a pandemic of the unvaccinated. I know I've said that constantly, and others have as well. The vaccination of the unvaccinated.
The surge is hitting America despite it having fully inoculated half of its population. White House's COVID-19 data director Cyrus Chapar tweeted the update. Yet the daily new cases, deaths and hospitalizations have risen sharply in recent weeks. Last week, there was an average of 90,000 new cases per day, with Florida and Texas accounting for a third of them. The United States is back up to around 380 COVID-19 deaths a day, with hospitalizations averaging 7,300 a day over a week. And our correspondent Susan Teherani getting us this detailed report from New York on these developments. Take a look.
According to a new report by the CDC, an increase in COVID cases and hospitalizations are now being seen in all age groups across the United States. The Delta variant continues to be the predominant strain of COVID-19, representing 93% of all cases, while transmission continues to be high in more than 80 counties across the country. Death rates remain low. During the past 7 days, there has been a 43.3% increase compared to the previous week. However, a 678.6 increase from the lowest average in June 2021. It's safe to note that less than 1% of those fully vaccinated will require hospitalization or die due to the virus. Hence, the CDC continues to encourage Americans to get vaccinated. Susan Tehrani from New York for WION World is One.
WION now available in your country. Download the app now. Get all the news on the move.